This is an Undiscovered Legacy production and proud member of Pod Nation Media Network.
All right, school believers, let's get across the start line with today's guest, C. Savan. Let's go.
I found three things. I believe that most people on their deathbed, they when asked life's biggest regret, their last hours before they pass away, they always say the same thing. Everybody always says it's not the things that they did, it's the things that they didn't do, right? And I believe true fulfillment are three things. You create, you connect, and you contribute.
Salutations, school believers, and we are here again with another amazing entrepreneur. Today we're here with Cease. Hey, Cease, how are you?
Hey, buddy, how are you? Thanks for
Fantastic.
having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be on the Undiscovered Entrepreneur. Get across the start line. Super appreciate you.
Yes, excited to be here.
All right, perfect. All right, so before we get started here, I have one kind of semi-serious question to ask you.
Yeah.
Okay, here. All right, here we go. Are you a school believer?
Oh, totally, for sure.
All right. Thanks for being a school believer, Cease. I super appreciate you. That's fantastic.
Uh,
All right, right here in front, what I'd like to do here is getting kind of an idea of who you are, what your entrepreneur adventure is, and what it was like for you to get across the start line in your entrepreneur adventure.
yeah. This is our 38th month. We have generated over 100K months consecutively. It wasn't always like this, right? That's what I'm passionate about, is helping people get to 100K months, because when I got there, that changed my life, changed my family's life, changed the connection we have with each other, changed my life in terms of my contribution work. You're just creating at a really high level when you're generating 100K months. So I know what it's like to not do that and struggle, and to be able to do that, come out the other side. I've actually just kind of made my personal calling is, how can I help other people do the same thing? So that's what I do. I help entrepreneurs launch brand new businesses, and then also get to 100K months consistently. Those who are already at 100K months get to $1 million months. So that's my thing.
Fantastic. So, I mean, can you give me kind of an example of how you actually go through that process?
Yeah. A lot of people forget it's a relationship, right? So think of a relationship that you have with people, just me and you here, right? We're starting the relationship. We're like, hey, we might be able to do something with each other, but we don't know. So what the first thing we got to do, we got to get into proximity with each other. We got to get seen. That's kind of what we did. And now we're here to get to know each other. I get to know your community. You get to know mine as well, kind of dive into that, right? So, and then from there, we take it from, if there's a deep connection, the relationship is great. There's ways we can complement each other. We then move on to, hey, maybe we could do business with each other. We could like each other. We can go deep into partnerships with each other, just like a relationship. We can ask each other how we could be boyfriend and girlfriend. We can, after spending time with each other for long periods of time, if we believe we're right for each other, somebody could propose and we can get married and have children and build a life together. Well, that's a relationship that you have with another person. Well, in business is the same way. Most people don't see their business journey. They're taking their clients from seeing them to knowing them to liking them to wanting them to trusting them to buying from them. People treat clients as if they're just a number, right? So for me, my success when I figured it out is that I shouldn't go from people seeing me for the first time. I shouldn't just be making offers and trying to sell them. I should start the relationship. I should deepen and nurture the relationship. I should get them to know me, to like me. And if we're a good fit and they like me and they want me, that's when I should make my offer. And when I found out that building a business is just like building a relationship, that became a game changer for me, right? So that's kind of my theory. It's a relationship model, and you should build your business. You should treat your clients like you would treat another person.
That's fantastic. And yeah, we kind of skip all that sometimes, especially when we're first going to be started. We don't know any better. That we want to sell. We're so excited about what we're selling, and we want to get it all out there. But we got to understand that we need to take the time with these people to make them understand, hey, this is who we are. This is who I represent and what I represent. This is who I am as a person, and be authentic with those people first, so they're more likely and more comfortable being able to
Yeah,
buy from you, spending their hard-earned money to somebody
totally.
that they like.
Totally. One of the things that I see a lot, there's a lot of noise out there, right? I fell to this trap as well. I would see somebody, let's say I see their ad for the first time on Facebook or whatever, and then they're making me an offer. I'm thinking, wow, that's how you should do it. Well, realistically, that's not how you should do it. It's not you wouldn't walk up to a person on the street and say, "Hey, will you marry me?" You wouldn't do that to a live person. Why would you do that, in business? And here's the thing that I learned. People will pay you with their attention before they pay you with their assets. Make sense? Right? People will, there's two types of transactions. There's time transaction and then there's money transaction, right? And I totally skipped when I was struggling to build a 100K a month business. I totally skipped the time transaction. I totally skipped the attention transaction. And I went from, hey, see me. And then I would make my offer thinking that they would just buy something from me, right? I went from seen to sell. Instead of seen, now it's seen, serve, and then sell, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important that we have to serve first before we do anything else. That will definitely set us in the minds. It's like, oh yeah, I have this problem, but I know that Cease can help me fix this problem, or I can Scoob can help you fix this problem too. And
Yeah.
that way you're in front of mine the whole time instead of it's like, oh hi, will you buy this please? I mean
Yeah.
that there's
Yeah.
no relationship there. There's no camaraderie. There's nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. And then you do this so well too. It's people, it's like you go from, if you look at marketing and sales, it's already a low trust environment. So we have to share ourselves to earn trust in a world that doesn't trust. Right. And that's what we both here have done so well, is to share ourselves to a world that doesn't trust. So
Yeah, absolutely. And just for reference, I used to be a car salesman. I sold cars for 16 years. So if you want to talk about an industry that has zero trust, that's
yeah.
definitely the one.
Yeah.
All right. So do you think that's what stops most entrepreneurs from getting across the start line? I mean, when we're first starting out, do you think that's one of the things that stops us from getting across the start line, even just thinking about that?
Yeah. I think that when you don't have a relationship, because if you think about it, principles work, right? Business principles, relationship, building a relationship, that principle works. And it's a timeless principle. The only thing that changes is when there's innovation or technology, then the application changes, but the principle remains the same, right? So if just think about your business, most people, if you want to get started, if you're a brand new entrepreneur, you want to get started, you want to create your offer, you create your product, create your service, all you got to do is just sit down like, I have this amazing product service that I want to sell, yes, and I know that I can give my clients results. Before you go out into the marketplace, again, in the marketplace, it's not the value that you are, it's the value that you add, right? So before you go out to the marketplace, just just build out your client journey. How do you take them from seeing you to knowing you to liking you to wanting you, where you can then make them an offer, a low ticket offer, a core offer, a tripwire offer, something small for them to enter your world and then trust you. And then you can make them your high ticket or your back end offer and then make them a premium value offer. And then ultimately, even if you want, get them to rebuy from you, having some type of a continuity offer, right? So yeah, just map out your client journey. I think that's what really what, if people don't know how to take their client from top of funnel all the way to the bottom of funnel, I think it's hard to get started. And just look at it like a relationship. Once you do that, it'll be easy for you to start.
And you know what's really interesting to me, especially nowadays, I want to dig in a little bit about what you said about even though processes change, what we actually do doesn't.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw in AI because you probably hear that's all over the place.
Cool.
We've gotten to a point now with AI where we can actually make products. We can do things very quickly. But we still, even with AI, we still need to make the effort to talk human to human and make those relationships. You really can't make those relationships through AI.
Nope. 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 And here's the thing. As this it's here, right? The wave of AI is here. We know this, and it's gonna this big wave is gonna be more and more. And here's what's gonna happen. At the very beginning stages, people are gonna be like right now, we're like, we see a video, we're like, oh, that's so cool. He's created an avatar. I obviously it's clear that this video was created by AI. It's not really Cease. I think at the very beginning stages, people are going to think it's cool. But what's going to end up happening very soon, it's already actually starting to happen. People are like, I want to know the real cease. So I think we're going to shift from getting like getting attention to actually marketing is going to become demonstrating authenticity, right? We're going to shift from getting attention, which is where the world of AI and all that stuff's coming. People are going to get a lot of attention, but then people are going to look at professionally polished content, videos, and they're going to miss personal connection. So I believe that personal connection will be professionally polished every day of the week, right? They're going to start seeing videos that have no ahs and ums and all of this stuff, and it's going to be great and look phenomenal. But then people are like, I just want to be in the room with the real person now. I think marketing and sales is going to be a demonstration of authenticity.
Yeah, because we'll miss that human touch,
Totally.
and it's the thing too. If we don't have at least a few of the
Yeah.
human mannerisms, the ahs, not I'm not talking but if we don't have a few of those
Yeah.
things that happen, it becomes very static and it's not
Totally.
something we can relate to.
Totally, totally. And people are gonna wanna get in the rooms with people again, right? The relationship, so seeing you, a lot of it will be online. Getting to know you, a lot of it will be online. But then when they're ready to buy something from you, I think people are gonna wanna get in the room with you first. They're gonna wanna see the real people. They're gonna wanna see the real you. They're gonna wanna spend 4 hours a day, 2 days, 3 days with you before they make a decision to buy a high ticket. Why? Because they wanna see, like, is this the real person? Are they doing this? Are they the same on camera? Are they the same on stage? Are they the same off stage? And that's what people are gonna miss, and that's what people are gonna want before they start making serious buying decisions.
Exactly. So let's sure, Scoop Believers, we keep that in mind as we're going along in our entrepreneur adventure. Use AI as a tool, but not replacing us as humans and making the human touch.
100%.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. So, see, let me dig in a little bit deeper here about you personally. When you first got started, what was like the one thing that really kind of stopped you from getting across the start line in your entrepreneur adventure, you think?
Yeah. So actually, my entrepreneurship journey started when I was on December 3rd, 2005.
Mm,
That's when I started my entrepreneurship journey. So actually, my entrepreneurship journey or my entrepreneurship itch started when I was actually in the fourth grade. From when I was 10 years old, I walked to school my first day of school, and my school is 3 blocks away from my house. And in between my school and my house, there was a 7-Eleven. If you went into a 7-Eleven way back in those days, at the very bottom row, they used to sell penny candies. There's little penny chocolate footballs. They would take the 5-pack of now laters and break them up and sell individual ones for a penny. I used to go buy those penny candies and bring them to school and sell them for 5 cents. I did that for 3 years. My fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade year, I was in high demand. I was slanging candy, right? And my business got shut down on when I turned 12 in the sixth grade, literally 2 weeks before school was over, because some kid got picked up by his dad to go to the dentist and they found cavities in his in concavities. And the unfortunate part is their family didn't do sugar, or a lot of it. They weren't allowed to eat sugar, no gum, no candy, barely desserts. And how did he get cavities? So he narked on me, and my business got shut down by the school. And I got suspended for school the last second week of school and left. I was suspended for 7 days. I got in trouble with my parents for 3 days. They should have praised me. I started a bit. My real entrepreneurship journey really started December 2005. I think one thing that keeps people from really starting, well, let's talk about starting, is two things. One is self doubt. Most people don't start because they don't believe that they have enough self worth or self value. Like, they don't believe that people would buy from them, right? People don't believe, why should somebody listen to me or buy from me? And I'll tell you this, my friends, if you have something that when you wake up, you find yourself doing something which I call unconscious competency. When you just wake up and you just do that thing so naturally, it's effortlessly, like an athlete would jump up, catch a football. catch it and you're like, oh my God, how did they do that? Well, that's unconscious competency. If you find yourself doing something like that, that means mastery. You have mastered something, that's your offer. Because whatever is easy to you is not easy for somebody else. So I believe self-doubt is one of them. Second, people just don't create offers. They either don't know how to create offers, right? Or they don't even attempt to create an offer. They don't take action to get started, right? Try to create an offer that's perfect. It's not. That's not how it works. If you look at every product that's launched, they always create a minimum viable product. So why would you not create a minimum viable offer? Make sense? It doesn't have to be perfect. You cannot get clarity unless you go. Right. So I believe those two things, self-doubt and people just don't create their offers. And I'll tell you what, the third one would be once you do create your offer, and that's why you have to create a minimum viable offer, make offers, right? People don't come to get through the process like they're not making enough offers, right? They're just, even if they have an offer, you can't sit there and hope and pray that someone's going to come buy it. You got to go out there and find your ideal client, solve problems, tell people about yourself, and then make offers. Are you going to say yes? Most are going to say no at the very beginning. And at the very beginning, if you're getting more no's and yeses, then what that means is you're not ready for profit yet. What you really needed instead of profit, you needed practice, right? And once you get practice, you get more yes.
All right. And it's funny how all those kind of mingle together into one process. We have the self-doubt, and that actually goes into imposter syndrome too, where I talk a lot about where you just like you said, who am I to do this? Am I qualified to do this? I mean, I don't have a piece of paper behind me that has a signature on it said I passed this test or anything like that.
Yeah.
So when you have the self-doubt, you can't create the offers, you can't make the offers. So get over the self-doubt and then create the offers and then make the offers. Because if you don't have those three main things, you're not accomplishing anything. But
No.
the self-doubt is definitely where to
Yeah.
start.
Yeah. 100%. I found three things. I believe that most people on their deathbed, they would ask life's biggest regret, their last hours before they pass away. They always say the same thing. Everybody always says it's not the things that they did, it's the things that they didn't do, right? And I believe true fulfillment are three things. You create, you connect, and you contribute. I believe if people on their deathbed, they don't create, what that means is they just showed up to work and punched in a time clock. They just traded their time for money, but never created anything. Didn't create an offer, didn't create a patent, didn't create medicine, didn't create anything. They just showed up and spent their most valuable time on somebody else's creativity. I believe even if they made a lot of money, they leave this world unfulfilled. So we are meant to create. We should create, connect. We should connect, build communities, right? Deliver massive value to clients, connect with our family, right? Have no regrets of the time spent with people, connect. And then third is contribute. I believe that if you leave this world and you did not contribute, didn't contribute your time, your resources you had, money, I believe you leave unfulfilled. So if you can do those three things, right, and you have to do all three of them, you will have lived a true fulfilled life.
Right. So if you want to live a true fulfilled life, make sure you hit the 3 C's.
Yeah. Create, contribute, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. And us being creatives and being who we are, it really makes a big difference about being able to accomplish those things because you need to have some way of being able to make those things happen. And if
Yeah.
you don't feel like you can, that's the self-doubt that's creeping in. I mean, can I actually do this? Yes, you can, but you have to be willing to actually go out and do it.
100%. Yeah. Action. You got to go, then you grow, then you get. That's the formula. You can't get, which is have, right? And when you do, you're going to do the best you can with what you have, right? Until you become the person you need to be to do the thing you need to do in order to have the thing you have to have. So you got to go, right? And then you grow and then you get.
And you make a great point in there. Use what you got. You don't
Yes.
have to have fancy equipment. Trust me, there's nothing fancy about what I'm using here, folks. Okay. It's
This background that I have, this is after building a multi seven-figure business, and my background before this was just the wall or wherever I was. That's it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have this until a few years ago when after I've done millions of dollars. Like, you gotta go.
Yeah. I mean, the people starting podcasts, you could start a podcast with just your phone and a set of earbuds and you're good to go.
Yeah. Earbuds are the best for that because the noise cancellation. Yeah, you don't need a full studio. I have a studio in my house in Malaysia. I have a studio here in Dallas as well. But yeah, you don't need all that right away. You should see my very first studio. It was nothing, right? Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So don't let that be the deterrent or the thing that stops you from getting started. Use
Well,
what you have in your hands right now and make something out of it. That's where the creativity comes in. You know,
yeah,
oh, I found this. I can use this in I'll give you an example. My walls that I surround myself with are made these the sound foam, but I found the sound foam being thrown away at where I work at. I was like, here, guys, just collect this for me. Now I can go. Now all my walls have the sound foam on. It didn't cost me a dime.
yeah, yeah.
Use your imagination. Don't be afraid to try things new, try things different that you have on hand that will work for you to get started.
Yeah, I love that message. Again, it's your only limitation is your imagination. So use what you have, just like, he's saying there, look, if you can wake up and answer these three questions, what do I know? What do I love? And who am I? If you can answer those three questions, you're ready to create your offer. You're ready to turn on the camera because once you turn on the camera and say, this is what I know. I'm going to share what I know. This is what I love. I'm passionate about it. And this is who I am. I don't need to be anybody else. This is just me, right? I'm going to show up authentically. Like I said, marketing sales is now demonstrating authenticity, not getting attention anymore.
Oh,
That's it.
definitely.
That's it.
That's why I associate myself with the cartoon dog. All right. So I'm sure you get this question all the time. What was your hardest pitfall? What was the hardest problem you had? Blah, blah, blah. I like to put a little bit of a spin on that if I could. What was the biggest pitfall that you have that you're proud of? What is the one time that you had a really rough situation or problem, but when you came out of it on the other side, you're glad you went through that situation because you had something so positive happen on the other side of that? Anything ever happened to you, Si?
Yeah. So after 13 years of being a successful enough entrepreneur, I've had some ups and downs prior to that as well, some struggles, some successes, but we had built some multiple successful businesses and actually failed several as well along the way. But in 2018, I was at the 13-year mark of my entrepreneurship journey. I ended up very overly confident as an entrepreneur, and I had some money sitting around, and I actually ended up purchasing some real estate in a big bundle package. So about like 50 properties all at once, in kind of like they kind of put them all into one package for me, and I bought it. And fast forward 18 months later, I ended up losing $5 million, right? So the that experience, while you're going through it, you obviously don't ever want to go through it or have, or really have anybody go through that. But once you come out the other side, right, and you're like, I'm so glad I did that because I had to go through that to understand and get me ready for what's about to come, right? What's coming now, to be able to perform at the level I'm actually performing at now. And what I learned from that whole experience is this: money is something that we can always make back. We lose it, we can make more of it back, right? The way building the way to wealth around us it's everywhere. You could see examples of it. You can model after so many people who are successful. You can build wealth very fairly relatively easy, but you got to also be ready for wealth. Makes sense? One of the things that I believe that money is the easy part until we stop resisting becoming the person that's ready for money, right? So I had to go through a bunch of stuff internally, internal battles, stories I told myself, and things like that to really understand that, man, I needed to go through that. I needed to learn from that experience. I need to humble myself and really get and become a totally different version of myself in order for me to get ready for the wealth that is now here, coming more, right? Yeah, so I transformed as an individual from that experience. I was very income revenue driven for those 13 years because I didn't come from money. right? One of the quotes that I love to death when I read it 21 years ago was, if you did not come from a wealthy family, make sure a wealthy family comes from you.
Mm.
So that became the catalyst that a wealthy family must come from me. So I was always driven the first 13 years of my transition from employee to entrepreneur. The unfortunate part, I was too revenue, too income driven. I needed to transform into this person that looks at income is the byproduct of impact, right? The more impact, the more income. The more wealth is based on the value that I create. So that was a big transition, big transformation for me to be at the level, to really play at the level I'm playing right now. So
Yeah, it's a process of getting you ready for what's actually to come. And actually see that happen a lot. And I'm going to throw this out there: lottery winners.
yes, they weren't ready for
They weren't
money.
ready. All of a sudden, they have millions of dollars. They don't know what to do with it, so they start spending it all over the place because they don't really how to manage it or maintain it. And suddenly, they're right back where they started before they won the lottery. Instead
Yeah.
of investing in others and investing in themselves, they just splurge it all over the place.
Yeah. If you use another example, like creation, right? What does an apple seed need to do to become an apple? Well, it has to, in order for it to be an apple, it has to become an apple tree first, right? A seed to an apple tree, fruit to bear an apple. So it has to become. So we're no different. We have to become in order to be ready to have. And there's a lot of work that you have to do, right? So if you look at an apple tree, for example, there's two types of works there. There's the gravitropic work, which is underneath the damp, dirty, dark stuff that people don't see, right? To grow your roots, the apple tree to grow its trunk, which is the shoot, right? And then then it goes phototropic, then that's where then it starts bearing fruit, which is the fruits of that labor. So we're the same thing, like an apple tree. We have to become the apple tree in order for us to bear the fruit of our labor.
And I'm going to actually add one more thing to that too, is the time it takes to actually get to the fruit. We have to understand that it doesn't go from a seed to fruit. We
No.
have to understand there's going to be some time between there to do the growing, to be able to have the photosynthesis, to be able to get those roots in the ground. That doesn't
Yep.
happen automatically. But the
Yep.
more times it takes and the more solid we are in what we do, makes us a better person, makes us a better entrepreneur.
Yeah, and that's the work, right? That's why I talk about before the phototropic work, it's the gravitropic work. Underneath the soil, the ground, the roots of the tree, the damn dirty work that nobody sees that you're doing, right? You see two Common Cup Award winners here, you see all this stuff. Well, you don't see the other side of that award. What I had to do get to that other side to break through to be able to get that award. That's the stuff that people don't see, right? So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. So much good stuff there. And I love the whole apple tree thing. That's pretty awesome. I love that. That's a good idea. All right. So if you were to come across a new entrepreneur, which you do quite frequently, it sounds like,
Yeah.
what one real good solid piece of advice would you give them? What step would you have them take first?
Yeah, my thing I would say is go take action. Take action. Most people get stuck in clarity mode. They have everything's got to be clear, everything's got to be perfect first before I go. And clarity and confidence does not come till later. Does not come till later most of the time. Some people look at clarity right away and kudos to them. But once you go, then that's when you grow the most. I always say this: stop learning and start growing. And what I mean by that is most are information rich, but implementation poor. You're going to learn more from life by execution than by education any day of the week. So go, execute, implement, because that's when you stop learning and start growing. Because once you go, let's say you say, you know what? I'm just going to create this minimal viable offer and I'm going to just tell the world that I'm going to run a webinar next week on Thursday and I'm just going to show up next Thursday. And for those who show up, it might be one person, two person, three people, five people, it doesn't matter. I'm going to deliver my talk, my 60-minute, 30-minute, 45-minute talk, and I'm going to make my offer. I may not get the profit. Somebody might not buy from me, and I'm going to be okay with that because I don't need the profit now. I need the practice. And you're going to grow from that. And then you're going to leave and you're going to watch yourself and you'll be like, oh, okay, I can improve it here. Then you start getting clarity. That I see what I did wrong there. Oh, I like what I did there. Oh, I don't like what I did there. Got it. You get clarity. You do it again next week. And then you go and you watch the same thing and you're like, oh my God, okay, got more clarity and more clarity and more clarity. All of a sudden, you make an offer and somebody buys. You're like, ooh, the practice is working. I needed the practice first before the profit. Now I'm starting to get profit. I like this. I'm going to do it again. You get more clarity and then you get more clarity and then you get confident. Then you get confidence and you get confidence. And now you get profits more in practice. Right? So that's what I'm suggesting.
All right. That's some good words right there, my friend. We'll make sure to clip that out so people can listen to that. Yes. Fantastic. All right. This is kind of a tradition that we have with all my guests. So I'd like to know here is in the next 6 months, what goals do you have for yourself and your company? What do you got coming up here in the next 6 months?
Yeah, we in the next 6 months we have a goal to get to 100K months with automation.
Hmm.
So that's our goal. So we run a lot of live events. Like we do challenges and workshops and things and webinars, weekly webinars, things like that. Literally just this week, we finished our automation. So we're going to launch it probably in the next 7 to 10 days where we'll drive traffic to it and our automated through our lead generation source as well as our automated signature talk, that is going to make our offers. So I am driven to prove to my community that other community that you can have a very powerful signature talk automation that will do the selling for you, where that is your best salesperson that's there 24 hours, 7 days a week. It doesn't call in sick, doesn't ask for overtime pay, doesn't ask for holidays off, and you can generate $1 million inside of your funnel with a very powerful signature talk. That's my next 6 months. So at the end of this year, since you asked this question, it's great. Even before the 6 months, actually, by December 31st, I have a goal to hit $1 million with that signature talk, and it's actually automated.
Hmm. Okay. That's awesome. Okay. So what I'd like to do with you, see if it's okay with you,
Yeah.
is in 6 months, I'd actually like to follow up with you, have another interview just like this. Yeah.
Go.
And we're going to see if you actually got that automation working and where it's supposed to be. Is that okay?
Let's go.
All right. Because now you're not
Right?
just accountable to me, you're accountable to all my school believers out there.
Yeah. If I don't make it, we're going to learn from it, right? Again, back to that, right? This is something new for me as well, right? And if you're starting something new, that's the key. Like you can set it. I love outcomes, but I also know that there's time, just like what you had said, there's time to become the person. I'm launching this in the next 7 to 10 days, and my signature talk may not get me to that $1 million, and I'm okay with that. Why? Because I may need a better, right, signature talk than that to be able to convert at the level that I want to convert. So I may have not even become the person I needed to be to record a very powerful signature talk to make that happen. I don't know. Maybe, right? But I won't have that clarity until I go. Does that make sense?
Right. Because that's the important part. That's the goal part.
Totally.
All right.
Sure.
All right, Cece, this is your time to shine. This is the time I want you to advertise yourself. How do we get a hold of you and all that good stuff? Okay, ready, set, go.
Yeah. So I wrote a 100K book. It's called the 100K. It's the playbook for 100K months. This is a book that I wish I had when I was stuck at under 100K year. I never reached 100K year as an employee. My brother hasn't. My sister hasn't. I watched my parents work combined together with all that overtime they never did. So I wrote a book about it, how I was able to do it, because I know that once I reached the 100K mark, I went to 100K months. I did 100K weeks. I've done 100K days. Our next step is $1 million month, $1 million week, $1 million day. That's next step. But I did write a 100K book that you can have for free. Right now, it's being in the process of turning into physical books. So right now, I decided to give our audience, those who get the chance to watch me first and get that book for free. It's about 300 pages. It's going to walk you through exactly what I did to build a 100K month business consecutively for 38 months in a row now.
Fantastic. If you want to get your hands on that, take a look in the show notes. We'll have a link for you. That way you can just grab that real quick and see how Cease did it. All right, Cease, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for your input. Thank you for being on the Undiscovered Entrepreneur. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much.
All right. Absolutely. All right, School Believers, make sure you stay tuned for the wrap up. All right, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, School Believers, that was Cease. What a great interview. I love talking to him. He had some fantastic stories, and all of us had something to take away from that. But there are two major takeaways I want to make sure that you caught. The deathbed test. What your last hour will reveal about your life. Most people spend their final moments regretting not the things they did, but the things they never dared to do. Right now, you are writing your story on your deathbed. Don't look back on your life saying, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. Take a moment to actually do it and see where it takes you. You'll be amazed what would happen next. And my favorite story, the kid with candy to making real money. Cease was a 10-year-old kid selling candy until adults shut him down for being different. Sound familiar to you at all? You're good at things that other people desperately need help with. But don't sell yourself short. You have a value, and it's a lot more than a penny. It's a lot more than what you think. Make sure that you're charging what you know you're worth and not what everybody thinks that you're worth. And with that, I want to say thank you very much, School Believers, for another fantastic episode, and we will see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.